Hello and welcome everyone. So in last video we saw how the control is flowing through the application. In this video we will dig a little bit deeper into it. So we saw that once we open any particular link that has .html at the end of it, dispatcher servlet finds it in its URL mapping, and then it tries to find an adequate request mapping in the @controller mapped objects and classes, and it tries to run that particular method. So let's come to the teachers page and see how that happens. So in teachers page we have /teachers, and if we open the teachers controller, sorry about that, if you open the teachers controller, which is open right here, we see that the teacher, the whole class is marked as the request mapping /teachers. So what is that? How is this working over here? Then which method should it execute? So now we can mark a whole class with a request mapping in case we want to do a tree or a hierarchy kind of thing. So any method inside this class will have /teachers / whatever request mapping is defined at the method level. So in this case, if we have only /teachers, then it will be executing this particular method because this is where the value is nothing, and this is the request method get. So by default it is always get. I wanted to make sure that this is more readable, so I have put request method get over here. But this is how we populate the default method that we want to get caught at the controller level request mapping. So it is capturing this particular request mapping over here, executing it, adding the model attribute, sending it back to the view. Now what about these? So this is a more complex or a parameterized URL mapping. So what that means, so let's go back to our view. In the view, if we do a click on a particular link for a teacher, for a student or a course, let's say for this particular teacher I'm going to click this. Now we see the URL is a little bit strange. It is having a parameter over here apart from some static content like teachers and student. So this is the way to retrieve the parameter from the URL. So we pass it as in that mustache kind of squiggly lines, and in our parentheses as ID, and then we can do path variable ID, which is an integer, and model as usual that we want to pass back into the view. So this is how we can catch this ID, and we can do some other operations based on this ID. So in our case, we are running a particular service method, getting the teacher name, we are for that particular ID, and then we are also finding the student list through the service method for that particular teacher ID, and then we are adding those two attributes to the model, and then we are returning the student. So you will notice that while returning, we are not returning model, we are returning only the view name. So just because we have added a model attribute over here, Spring automatically does that task for us. So anything that you add to model as a model attribute, add attribute, automatically gets added to the model and is available to the view. Okay, so this is all I want to talk about the parameterized way of retrieving the parameters from the URL and processing it into the controller methods. In the next video, we will talk about how the DAO layer is organized and how it is retrieving data. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.